Journey begins with Welcome to Imperfect TV, where we embrace the messy, the real, and the beautifully unfinished. I'm Gemma Blythe, and this is your Monday morning guided journaling session, your space to breathe, reset, and begin the week with intention. Mondays can feel overwhelming, but they also hold a quiet power, a fresh start, a chance to realign with what truly matters. So, before the emails, the to-do lists, and the noise of the day take over, let's pause together. Take a deep breath in and out. Let's start this morning by checking in with ourselves. You don't have to get it perfect, just honest. Let your thoughts flow without judgment. This is your time, your space, your moment to be fully present with yourself. So grab your journal, settle in, and let's write. I'll be here with you, guiding you along the way. Because growth isn't about perfection, it's about showing up, even on the messy Mondays. Hello everybody. Welcome to your Monday morning guided journaling session. So this morning we're going to be uncovering the survival mechanisms that we may have used, found even by accident during trauma, to help us cope with the different situations that we found ourselves in. So as we go through this morning, please note that you can be as honest and open as you need to be. The chat is completely for you. You can use that as much as you want, and I fully encourage that. Because the more we can get each other to comment back, to understand, we create a community. And that's what Imperfect TV is all about. It's all about creating a community for each other. So this isn't about getting as many people as possible to watch this. This is about getting a minimum of like 20 people to watch this, and that being good, because then that's 20 people that this has helped. So without further ado, let's go through this. I have 4 journaling prompts for you this morning, and they are all about the different coping mechanisms that you've developed during the trauma, how your body responded to the trauma. So we're going to be covering the flight or freeze response, and then the coping mechanisms that you develop to distance yourself from the trauma as well. And then looking back at the coping mechanisms you developed that may have helped then, but may actually be holding you back now. That's why the comments are so important. So if you feel able, please go in the comments and just write in whatever you are feeling during this moment. Because healing will happen and is happening. So without further ado, I want you just to compose yourself. Just take a few deep breaths in and out during this video. Okay. Okay. So looking at the first prompt then, just get this up on the screen for you. Here we go. What strategies or behaviors did you rely on to get through the trauma? How did they help you survive? Okay, this one is looking at the way you coped through the trauma. So, when you go through trauma, either if it's something physical or emotional, the body finds itself overwhelmed. And so your survival instincts in that moment, they kick in and they help to give you that protection that you need in that moment. A lot of people, and it bugs me to this day, a lot of people quite often turn around to somebody that's been through trauma and said, "Why didn't you react? Why didn't you react in that moment?" People that turn around to trauma survivors like that add to the shame and the guilt that survivors feel after they've been through trauma. And the problem with that is that can make the survivor feel very insulated, very misunderstood, and as though no one is going to understand them. So, but that is one of the coping mechanisms that your body does when met with extreme trauma. So, this morning we are going to be covering these different mechanisms, the fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. But I just wanted to clear that up from the start because when we do journaling, our inner thoughts and emotions rise to the surface, and that is absolutely fine. You are in a safe space, no one can hurt you, and this is just your time. So, as you tackle this particular prompt, I want you to reflect on the coping mechanisms you used during the traumatic experience, whether you disassociated, compartmentalized, or you shut down emotionally. So, disassociation is sometimes an out of body experience. You look at the scene as if it's not happening to you. When you compartmentalize, you behave as though it didn't happen to you. And when you emotionally shut down, it's like you're there, but not there. All of that is absolutely fine. And if you are realizing what you did for the first time, use it. Use it to your best advantage because now you can see why you did that. And that's what these, excuse me, that's what these sessions are all about. Okay. So I'm going to give you just over a minute to journal on this, get some notes down, and then we'll come together and reflect. And I'll share some more tips for you on this one. But yeah, have a go. See how you get on. Okay. So how did you find that? It can be very difficult to look back at that time and just think about your emotions during that time. So going back to the disassociation, the compartmentalization, or shutting down emotionally. There's some others here. So, did you rely on avoidance? So, avoiding any situation where you might encounter the trauma again. Did you play the role of always looking out for others? So, whether there were minors involved, or did you focus on something external to help get you through it, to distract yourself? So, when you tackle this again, I want you to look at it and look at how you protected yourself in that moment and how these strategies played a role in helping you survive in that moment. Because our bodies are very, very clever, and our brains even cleverer. Because those strategies that we often use, we don't know that we're using them or how we're using them. We just use them. And if you're sat here today doing this, that's you taking the first step. That's you taking control over your life that somebody tried to wreck. Okay, so we've covered the strategies or behaviors that you relied on during that time. Now, the second journaling prompt is more about the common ways. So, the fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. Okay, so I'm just going to hide this one and show this one. So, how did your body respond to the trauma? And what physical survival mechanisms did you develop? So, this gets you to think about your physical response during the trauma. So, did you fight? Did you try to escape and get away? Did you people please? And that's where the fawning comes in. At the start, I had no idea what fawning was, so please believe me when I say that. Um, it's a way of saying people pleasing, which I'm not keen on. Um, I think sometimes, in some cases, you can be blackmailed during trauma, and so I wouldn't necessarily use fawning. Um, I'd say you were manipulated. But there you go. So, how did these survival mechanisms show up in your body? So, during this, I want you to reflect on how your body responded to this, to whatever you went through. Again, this is something you might not have realized at the time. So, allowing yourself to take this time makes it easier for healing because you then know what your body did for you during that time to help you get through it. So, again, let's take just over a minute to just jot some ideas down about this and don't get critical with yourself. This is the one thing that I always say to people when they start journaling. You don't need to get critical with yourself. There is no right and no wrong. Just have fun with your thoughts and scribble them down on the page however you feel. Write, draw, hey, make a mind map, bullet point, just anything. Anything that you can use to help yourself through this. See you in a minute. Just jot down some ideas and see what your body did for you. Okay. So, how did you find that? What did you uncover about your body during that time? So, when you come back to this, I want you to think about how these physical responses still show up in your life now. And how can you work to heal or soften them? There are many things that you can do. You can meditate, ground, work on your boundaries with people, work, how long you spend watching TV of an evening. You can work on all of that. And it helps you to ground yourself in who you are and how you might cope with future situations. Because everything has a knock-on effect. Everything in your life could be connected. So it can have a domino effect. So think about that. Think about how you look at yourself before and after the trauma. Think about what your body did for you to protect you during the trauma. Because it did something. You're here. You're doing this morning. So it did something. So that then takes us on to journaling prompt number 3, which I will grab. This targets more about the emotional responses than the physical responses. So, again, just think about how you cope emotionally and how you coped emotionally during the pain and fear and how you distance yourselves from that after trauma. So, journaling prompt number 3 then. What emotional or mental coping mechanisms did you develop to distance yourself from the pain or fear during trauma? So, I want you to consider how you mentally or emotionally coped during the traumatic events. Did you numb your emotions, distract yourself, or did you mentally escape from what was happening? Or did you convince yourself that it wasn't happening or that it wasn't your fault? Because no matter what happened to you, it wasn't your fault. Those are just a series of things that happened to you that weren't your fault, or one thing that happened to you that wasn't your fault. So think about how you felt during that, and think about the different things that you may have turned to. So you may have looked at other situations that were going on externally to what you were going through. You may have focused on looking out for others instead of looking out for yourself. You may have numbed your emotions, so you may have figured out that this isn't happening to me, or I don't want this to happen to me. So you numbed your emotions against it to appear emotionless to the person who was doing whatever they were doing to you. So think about that. Think about how your emotions protected you in that moment and how you mentally protected yourself, maybe without even realizing it. But this is your chance to work on that part of your healing and realize, hey, hang on, I did that. I protected me when nobody else could. So take this moment to not only write down your emotions during this time and how they protected you, but take this moment to show yourself some gratitude for protecting yourself in that moment. I'll give you just over a minute. Be kind to yourself. Here we go. Okay. So, how was that? How did you find, looking back at how you coped emotionally and how your brain and your emotions helped you mentally cope with what was going on for you at that time? So, well, if you get a moment, I want you to come back to this question and look at how those mechanisms may still be playing a part in your life today, even if you don't realize it. How do you think they help you cope with different situations that you may find overwhelming today? Okay, so we're going to look back now for number 4. We are almost there. I know this isn't easy this morning. And here we go. So, looking back, what survival mechanisms did you develop? Excuse me. That may have helped you then, but are now holding you back from healing or growth. So, this gets you to think back to the survival mechanisms that were necessary for your protection during the trauma, but that may not necessarily be serving you in the right way now during your recovery. So, for example, perhaps you've continued to numb or disassociate when things get overwhelming. Or maybe you've stayed overly self reliant, fearing that asking for help makes you vulnerable again. So, this gets you to think about how your brain reacted then and how you react now to not similar situations, but to situations that come along that feel similarly overwhelming to you. So that's what I want you to concentrate on for just over a minute. So here we go. One last time. Just over a minute. See what you come up with. There's no pressure and there's no right or wrong. Okay. Okay, so how did you find That one, it can be strange looking back and then looking forward again to find out what you actually use during different situations, even now. So, if you have the chance to come back to this later, and please make sure you do for all of these, because that's how you can get the best value out of them. Write about these different survival mechanisms that may be holding you back from truly healing or moving forward. And explain how you might gently begin to release or transform them. So let's use this as an example. So let's say that you were struggling with something, maybe at work, and you knew that people were there to help you in that moment. But you've been holding back from asking them for help. For one reason or another, you may not have figured that out until this morning. So what might you do at work in future if you were struggling? That might be one way of gently releasing the hold that trauma has on you. So that's it from me this morning. So to recap, we have looked at what strategies or behaviors you might have relied on to get through trauma. We've looked at how your body responded to the trauma and what physical survival mechanisms you developed. Then we looked at what emotional or mental coping mechanisms you developed to help through the pain and fear. Then finally, we looked back at what survival mechanisms you developed that may have helped you then, but could be holding you back from healing now. So thank you so much for joining me. And I hope to see you here again next Monday at the same time for your guided journaling session here on Imperfect TV Network. And I have a little something to leave you with, so don't go anywhere yet.
Step. A step toward healing, toward adventure, toward discovering who we are beyond the past. Welcome to Life with Gemma Blythe, a space where storytelling meets self-discovery, where we embrace the art of healing, and where every chapter of life is worth exploring. This channel isn't just about the past, it's about the future. About stepping into new roles, new places, and new stories. Because whether I'm diving into a script, crafting a story, or wandering through the hidden gems of the UK, every experience is a chance to learn, to heal, and to create something meaningful. For me, storytelling has always been a form of healing, whether through acting, becoming someone else to understand myself better, or writing, shaping worlds that feel like home. Stories have a way of helping us reclaim our voices. And then there's travel, walking through the streets of Edinburgh, uncovering hidden bookshops in London, standing on the windswept cliffs of Cornwall. There's something about exploring new places that makes us feel more alive, more connected to the world and to ourselves. So here, on Life with Gemma Blythe, we're not just talking about healing, we're living it. Through words, through performance, through the simple joy of discovering something new. And when life feels overwhelming, when the scripts are unfinished, The words won't come, or the road feels uncertain. There's blithe coffee break. Short, reflective moments where we pause, breathe, and find clarity in the chaos. It's a space to reconnect, to sit with our thoughts, and to remember that healing isn't just about moving forward. It's about being present. So, whether you're here for the stories, the journeys, the creative process, or simply for a place to feel understood, you're welcome here. Let's step into this adventure together. Let's act, write, explore, and most importantly, let's live. Because this is Life with Gemma Blythe, and the next chapter is just beginning. Subscribe now to Life with Gemma Blythe, available to listen and watch on YouTube. And if you're ready to embrace the next chapter of your life, join me inside Imperfect TV Network, where we create, explore, and heal, one imperfect step at a time.
Imperfectly, we grow, step by step, we let the pain go. In this space, we heal, you know, it's all about the journey, not the show. Living imperfectly, perfect, it's